There's always these cycles. And if the world is heading towards disaster, which I think it is heading towards disaster, I ask myself, which nation states will be resilient in that the people will most likely stand together and make changes necessary in order to overcome this adversity. And historically, it's always been Japan. Okay, Japan in the 12th, 13th century was able to survive 2 Mongolian invasions. 19th century, when they were being invaded by the Western powers, they underwent the Meiji restoration and became an industrial power in about 20, 30 years' time. After World War II, when they were completely destroyed by the Americans, they came together, changed their political and industrial system. Before they had something called the Zabatsu system, which is basically monopolies, industrial monopolies. After World War II, they got rid of those things. They ate the rich and then reindustrialized. And in about 20, 30 years' time, they became the most advanced industrial economy in the world. Okay? So the Japanese have a history of resilience, of making changes when their survival is threatened. And that's why I think that Japan will probably do it again. Whereas I've not seen an instance of China being resilient. Okay? I have not. Okay, keep on going. This is the last question.
Thank you, Professor, for all the lectures you posted. Also, honorable mention, the YouTube algorithm that managed to draw a lot of us in the beginning to create a critical mass of viewers to start the hype. One question, if you would need to move permanently to another country in the next 6 months, what would be your top 10 and why?
Okay, first of all, because I have a family, I have 3 kids, I would not make any changes lightly. Okay? I would prefer not to move unless I was entirely sure that there's a better option for me, okay? But let's just say, for whatever reason, tomorrow I have to make the move. Where would I go? Well, some countries that come to mind would include Botswana in Africa, because it's like far enough from everywhere. It's a pretty stable society, okay? So Botswana is something to consider. Then you have Chile in South America. I would consider New Zealand, possibly. Malaysia. Okay? So these are 4 places I would consider. If, for the reason, tomorrow World War III breaks out and Europe is on fire, America's attacking everyone, America's in civil war, there's lots of conflict in East Asia between Japan and China, who knows, okay? All right? Okay, so that's it for the founding members, and that took us a lot of time, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do some YouTube questions for another 10 minutes. Okay, and then we'll break because it'll be impossible for me to get through all the YouTube questions. All right. Okay, so this is from Joyce Lai. Space. What's my theory of space? I personally don't think space matters. I personally don't think we'll ever get to the moon. I don't think we'll be able to mine asteroids for resources. I think society will collapse much more quickly than we assume, okay? We just won't have the time, the energy, the resources to go conquer the moon, okay? I think the space race, it's all just an illusion. Space race, AI, alien invasion, they're all just lies perpetuated by the elite. I pay absolutely no attention to the space race. And this is strange because I grew up watching a lot of science fiction. I love science fiction. I read a lot of Isaac Asimov, Ray Bradbury. I watched a lot of science fiction like Star Trek, okay? I love that. So I would love it if we could get to the Mars. We're not getting to Mars, guys, okay? Not gonna happen. I don't care what Elon Musk says, it's not gonna happen. Let's get to the moon first, okay? Let's get the men on the moon first. All right. Can you explain India's position in this chessboard of astrological convergence? India. Look, again, I don't know enough about India to make predictions. But I will say that geopolitically, India is in a very bad position because it has a large population, its political system is very chaotic, and it's very resource constrained. It doesn't have that much resources. So my prediction for India would not be that optimistic, okay? But eventually, I want to go visit India and discover for myself the strengths of India. All right. Why do you think the people of Israel have constantly been expelled from 109 countries over the course of history? The Israelites say it's because everyone is envious of them, but is that really true? If a kid is expelled from 109 schools, are the schools at fault, or is the issue with the kid? Okay, so this is actually a question that a lot of people, I think, are really interested in. Okay, so let me spend some time to explain what's going on. So the Israelites have the Bible, and the Bible commands them to be forever loyal to God. And over the course of history, most Israelites have been absorbed into different communities, like the Christians and the Muslims, okay? And a lot convert themselves to Greek Hellenism, or this abandoned Judaism because they wanted to join the elite. So it's only been a minority, a very small minority, that has kept the Jewish faith alive over the centuries. And as you imagine, these people are fanatical. Okay, so imagine like just a small community. A small community. And so the main problem is like, how do you endure? Because their faith teaches them that what matters is their faith in God. They're the chosen people. How can they endure as a people? And so what happened in history is they basically made a deal with the devil. And what I mean by that is they made a deal with local nobility to serve them in exchange for being able to practice their faith. Okay? The deal often it goes like this. Nobility will hire them as subcontractors to manage their wealth. The Jews are diaspora, okay? So what they're really good at are trade and finance. Also, throughout most of human history, nobility were not allowed to engage in usury. Okay? Why? Because usury led to often to the destruction of society. Okay? When you collect interest on debt, the debt often multiplies to an extent that no one can pay it off, which often leads to revolution. But the problem is that usury was the most profitable enterprise you can engage in, okay? So what the nobility did, which was very clever, is say, let's get the Jews to go do it, okay? So the Jews are not allowed to own property, go to school, but they're allowed to engage in usury, basically finance. Okay? So this was a deal that a lot of Jewish communities made with European nobility. As you can imagine, this is going to be a problem because when times are good, that's fine. But when times are bad, people are going to get angry. And who do they blame? They blame the Jews, right? Because it's not the nobility that's collecting debt from you. It's the Jews that are collecting debt from you. And the Jews think they are the chosen people, so they set themselves apart from you. They live in their own communities. They practice their own religion. And they think they're better than you, okay? And this is going to lead to a lot of conflict. So again, when times are good, it's fine. But when times are bad, the Jews always get blamed. And again, history goes in cycles. And so whenever there's a bad time, the Jews get expelled from a certain location and they move elsewhere where they restart again. But they don't care because for them, their mission is to endure, to keep the faith. Okay? And over the centuries, they've learned certain strategies of how to endure. Okay? And a lot of this is basically segregation, where they keep themselves separate from other people, and they basically think that other people are dirty or whatever. Okay, I'm not saying all Jews, but like they have these traditions in place in order to endure. And a lot of these strategies tend to be very extreme. Okay? And unfortunately, we're seeing the same pattern emerge again in today's world, where anti-Semitism is now a very common thing around the Western world. Okay, not just because of what Israel is doing, but because of certain cultural practices of the Jews. Okay? That said, I have tremendous respect and admiration for the Jewish people because they are first and foremost intellectual people, people of the book, who've contributed many great ideas to human history. Okay? All right. Which branch of studies have a future in our modern world? What would you study if you were at the crossroads of life? Okay, one advice I give to people is ignore AI. Okay? If you want to become a computer programmer, if you want to go master AI to become a billionaire, you're going to be disappointed. If you really want to prepare for the future, read books. Okay? Read the great books, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to read the great books, just read books. Because the skill that you will need in the future is the capacity to think critically, think independently, and think deeply about the world. And by reading books, you can start to engage in an inner dialogue with yourself. Okay? And that's going to make you much more resilient in the future. So my best advice is, doesn't matter what you study, but what it does matter is to read books. Okay? All right. Could you help me read out?
I want Prof to talk about what advices he would give to his kids in the situation. We are going to collapse and the whole system is going to change. What advice Prof would give to his kids how to prepare themselves for upcoming situations and show how well you prepare your kids for the new world? I would be delighted to hear Professor's answers to these questions.
Okay, so every day I will just tell my kids 3 things, okay? And that's all I have to do. Okay, first thing I will say is I will always love you. No matter what happens, I will always love you. No matter what you do, I will always love you. If I die, I'll still love you, okay? Just know that. Wherever you go, whatever you do, I will always love you and I'll always be with you, okay? That's the first thing I tell my kids. Second thing I'll tell my kids is, I believe in you. Meaning, whatever you do will be good. Just believe in yourself. Okay? All right? And the third thing I will say is, just believe in yourself. And if my kids understand these 3 things, okay? That their parents always love them no matter what they do. That their parents believe in them. And their highest mission in life is to believe in themselves. They'll be fine no matter what. Okay? So it's not really about what university you should go to. It's not really about how much money you have. It's really about how you perceive yourself and your place in the world. And I want my kids to always believe that no matter what they do, no matter where they go, their parents will always love them. Okay, can you help me read out?
My question for the final exam is, if an AI civilian state is the end goal, why is there such a negative feeling in the general population for AI? What primary social, political, or game theoretic factors drive this public resistance, and how does it impact the trajectory of AI deployment?
There's such negativity towards AI because everyone knows what the purpose of AI is. The purpose of AI is to make you, as a human being, worthless, redundant. We don't need you anymore because we have robots, we have AI, okay? And human beings want to feel they're part of something. Human beings want to feel valuable. Human beings want to contribute to the greater good. And AI is a system designed to make you redundant, okay? Keep on going.
You predicted US-China grand bargain where China absorbs Americans' 39 trillion steps via stablecoins, the Genuine Act, to maintain the global USD hallucination. However, you also taught us that the US grand strategy is to embargo Malacca and use 21st century warfare economic strangulation to force Beijing into submission. If China is already a fragile hallucination with collapsing consumer confidence, while American strangulations can accidentally trigger a total collapse of the CCP, how can Americans extract wealth from the Chinese consumer if their own choke point strategy destroy the Chinese state from within?
Okay, so this is a really interesting question. Okay, so I'll make some certain comments. The first comment I'll make is that if you're a hallucination, you don't know you're a hallucination, okay? You don't. So objectively, this may be true, but the players don't know that it's true. That's the first point I'll make. Second point I'll make is that in the game, your objective is to win the game. Now, by winning the game,